I'd like to dive right in and talk about, you've done movies before where the sake of the world was at stake. But Moonfall is the first true disaster movie where the concept is the driver, not the franchise it's in service of. So
Yes.
what was it about Moonfall that made you want to make this your first true disaster movie?
Well, I've always been a fan of Roland Emmerich and these kinds of movies. They're always people pleasers. When they come out, everyone usually around me is talking about them. They've gone to see it. It's been an escapism for them. They've loved all the special effects. They've loved the spectacle of it all. They've loved how it's made them think about what I think we all fear. What would the end of the world look like? We all have this thought, whether we want to admit it or not. So I wanted to be a part of that. I had never been a part of something like that. But also what was a driver for me was when Roland came to me and he said, I've got a part that's written for a man in my next script, but I would love you to take a look at it. And right away, that piqued my interest, because as a Black woman, when I get to play a part that wasn't written for someone like me, I'm usually always interested in taking a look at it and seeing what that, could be.
Well, you mentioned that spectacle is certainly a huge component in this movie. So you as the lead, what do you think your greatest responsibility is in a movie where it is like the concept is the driver?
Yeah. Well, because it's such the concept, I didn't really consider myself the lead. The lead of the movie is the concept. I think it's very much an ensemble cast. Yes, my name is first, but I don't feel like I was the leader of this in any way. I was a humble part of the cast that were trying to service this concept that, Roland had in his mind.
Now, beyond just the end of the world, what is personally at stake for Jo Fowler in this movie? What sort of grounds her amidst all of this?
Well, I think, through and through, she's an astronaut. And I think in order to be an astronaut, there's a certain amount of fearlessness and courageousness one has to embody. She's very brave. And if you are an astronaut, you somehow understand that you are of service to your country, and you are an explorer. And I think being that that's who she is, going up into space and seeing if there was something she could do to save the world just seemed like something that she had to do based on who she was and the life that she had chosen, to live.
Now, I believe please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you played an astronaut on a television series a few years ago. Was there training from that you could kind of recall for this, or did you have to go and do all of that again, or?
No, not do it again. That was intense training for that television show. Like I took a zero-G gravity flight, talked to countless astronauts, both current astronauts working and past astronauts, talked to people at NASA. Like I did a lot of research back then. So luckily for me, I got to use all of that research again, sort of, open up that box and pull those tools out again.
Moonfall, I believe, was the first movie you made after you shot your directorial debut, Bruised.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, going back to the set as an actor, having directed your own film, how did the experience of directing a film change the way you worked as an actor on this film, or how you interacted with Roland Emmerich, since he's the first director to direct you after you directed yourself and you made a movie, you dealt all the stuff that he has to deal with?
Well, it's twofold. Part of it was a relief to not have to worry about anything but my little part, and part of it was me now, as an actor, having great compassion in a different way for the job of the director and the entire production, actually. There were times as an actor when I would walk on the set and I would say, why are we shooting this in this order? We should have shot this before we shot that. And now I understand, having to put, boards together and shot lists together and, drive a whole production forward. I understand how much thought goes into actually doing that. And it's usually budget issues or location issues or some issue greater than the need of the actor that causes us to schedule things the way we do. So it will make me forever have a lot more compassion for the entire process, the producers, the director, the crew, everybody.
Now you were, I would imagine as you were filming this, you're in post on Bruised, you're ramping up for the award circuit for it and everything. How challenging was it to challenge basically your day job here, right? To star in Moonfall with all the other stuff that you still have to get done with your own personal film.
When I started to edit my movie, we were in COVID, so getting together and editing with my editor in person wasn't what we were doing anyway. So I could work on Moonfall by day, and I could, get online at night with my editor and, edit my film, because it was all virtual anyway. So it actually made the process somewhat easier, for me to sort of work on both of these projects simultaneously.
Do you envision going back to like the old ways of doing stuff, like having to be in person for it, whether it's a junket or post-production, or do you think this is kind of the way you're gonna just work from now on? Like, is there a silver lining there, I guess I'm wondering?
It's hard to say. I proved that we could edit a movie virtually because I did it, and I think many people had to do it in the last couple of years. So we've proven that it can be done. Is it the best way to do it? I'm not so sure. Is this the best way to have a conversation about a piece of art and, share our thoughts about it? I don't know if it's the best way. I miss the human connection, the energy you feel off people when you're really in a room, seeing someone really face to face. I thrive on that, so I miss that. So I don't know if it's the best way. I don't know if it will become the normal way. Only time will tell, but we are proving that we can do it this way, But I don't know if it's the best way. My jury's still out.